Yeah, welcome everyone. Thanks for joining today. I'm really excited to give you a run through of this Trev and Figured integration demo. Scroll through here. So yeah, a bit of an introduction. My name's Matt. I'm on the partner success team here at Figured. And also joining me in running the webinar today is Corey from Trev, who's head of customers.
There you go.
There he is. Great. So we'll move on. So a bit of housekeeping to begin with. So it's going to be a quick one. I'm not going to be talking more for 30 minutes. You'll have a chance to put any questions in the chat throughout. So there's a public chat and a private Q&A. But we will have a Q&A session at the end as well. So please don't be shy, pop in your questions and we'll try to get back to you. But if we can't get back to everyone, just leave your details and we'll get back to you after the webinar. And we recommend, closing down any other apps just for the best viewing on Zoom. And this will be recorded and sent out afterwards. So not to worry about that. And then, integration overview, Corey will run through, and then Corey will also give a run through of Trev, and I'll do the same for Figured individually. And then, we'll look at sort of next steps and follow-ups. So moving through. So firstly, at an overview, the Trev and Figured integration is all about combining data for amplified value. So we're utilizing operational data from Trev and combining that with the financial data in Figured. So you're getting a much stronger picture of the farm, which can bring to light new and relevant information and empower more informed decision making. So Trev and Figured have been noticing the market that obviously the ability to record information is evolving fast. There's data in a lot of different places. And this means farmers are utilizing a whole range of different software specific to each individual farm. And we understand that no operation is the same. We have been hearing that there's an increased burden involved with keeping those data sets aligned, which in turn involves more time scrutinizing that data, especially as compliance measures grow. We know accurate records are essential for when creating meaningful insights you can actually rely on. And therefore the need for implementing a powerful and seamless agri stack is becoming more and more evident. So that's why Trev and Figured have joined forces. We see a shared need and interest across our user base to streamline the data management process. So with that in mind, I'm going to pass you over to Corey to give you a bit of run through of Trev, and then I'll do the same for Figured.
Awesome. Cheers, Matt. So it's likely a lot of you on this webinar today are probably wondering who this Trev Rooster is. In a nutshell, Trev is your trusty farm reporting software. In under 10 minutes a week, the Trev software guides our users through a simple process where we capture key operational information that allows users to build their own database. On top of the data that we capture through our weekly reporting process, we also integrate with other tools and organizations to minimize double entry and provide additional context. This includes the likes of milk processors, nutrient providers, and Figured, with more in the pipeline as we speak. As our users record their information, Trev automatically cleanses and standardizes it to produce a high quality, trusted data set. Not only is it good quality, but it's served back to you in a range of useful ways, such as our customizable dashboards and proactive insight tools. Trev gives you a real mix of ways to view your data, including dashboards curated for single farm operations, multi-farm corporates, and every farm business in between. Another key part of Trev is that we enable you to efficiently share your data with the various stakeholders associated to a farming business. You can set up as many users as you want at varying levels of access, and make sure that everyone is reading off the same page using our shareable links, printable PDFs, and exportable raw data. Now, I'm fully conscious that this has been a really high-level overview, so if you'd like to delve deeper into the software, we'll be following up after the webinar with a form so that we can reach out directly and tee up a time for a one-on-one Zoom. I'll kick it back to Matt now to run through Figured.
Awesome, thanks for that, Corey. So a bit more about Figured. So Figured was built quite simply to remove the burden associated with managing your farm finances. We're integrating with accounting software like Xero. This allows Figured to focus on ensuring your farm finances can be easily managed. And Figured enables you to put production and quantity information on top of bank feed and accounting information, allowing you to quickly build out cash flow, but also look at profitability. Typically, reviewing financial information can be seen as a heavy load to carry. The thought being, why should I build out a cash flow when as soon as it's created, it becomes outdated and irrelevant? Bookkeeping takes forever, and doing budgets and planning is a very manual process. Figured is all about transforming how farmers work with their team and view their finances. So we help align financial and production information in real time, which one serves up relevant, up-to-date information that empowers insightful and accurate financial decisions, and two, alleviates a lot of those manual processes typically involved with creating budgets and keeping them updated. We're passionate about allowing farmers to make decisions in real time based on live data connected up with bank feeds. And having that single source of truth that actuals for the farming team can be across is crucial for simplifying farm planning, and is where cloud accounting really comes into its own. Building a budget and keeping your live forecast updated is easy within Figured, and it only becomes easier the more years you plan by capturing last season's data and building on that for next season's plan. Thinking about what went to plan, what didn't go to plan, and what does that mean for the next season. So here's an example of what you'd expect when moving over to Figured. So it's a one-off setup in the beginning, and then you can build your annual plan once a year. And then it's all about reconciling those actuals inside Xero, whether that's daily or weekly. You can also file your GST returns directly out of Xero too. And then it's just reforecasting, reviewing and repeating. And this can again be done weekly, monthly or quarterly. And you can compare those actuals back to your base plan and revise the forecast if needed. So that's a brief summary of Figured. I'm going to pass you again back to Corey to look at the integration itself.
Cheers, Matt. So why are Trev and Figured teaming up? Double entry of data is something that we hear from our customers as a key pain point when utilizing multiple pieces of farming software. Our integration allows livestock data to flow directly through to Figured, aligning operational and financial information to save time and increase confidence in your records. This was really bolstered by the fact that the Trev team gets fantastic feedback around the accuracy of our livestock numbers, which is really due to our weekly reporting process. We also know that it's not always the same person performing the on-farm and in-office functions. So having an automated flow of accurate livestock data in both your operational and financial reporting systems means the team can use their preferred tools. When building this integration, our customers also shared with us that they wanted to stay in control of their data. As a result, the integration has been built to let you choose the right data flow from Trev to Figured for your business. The auto sync option provides an instant zero-touch flow of stock events into Figured as soon as it's entered in Trev. Or if your organization needs a little more control of the process, you can directly review and synchronize events, so Figured is only updated as and when you want it to be. But enough talking about it, let's go into a brief demo to show the flow of a livestock event from creation within the Trev reporting process into Trev's analytics dashboards, and finally through to our integration with Figured. Just keep in mind that we have Matt driving Figured and myself driving Trev, so we'll need to chop screens when we hand over controls. Typically, you'd have both up on one web browser for an easy transition. So just bringing up my screen now. So this is the Trev dashboard, and it's what you see when you first log into Trev. Key thing with Trev is that we've designed it to be really easy to use on any device, and this is really consistent with the feedback that we get. So here I'm going to click into a weekly report. Key things here is that these reports take less than 10 minutes a week, and they're also modular, meaning that we can customize them for your individual farming business. Not only that, this reporting process is mobile responsive, meaning that you can enter your data on the fly while out on farm. Here I'm going to show you what it's like to create an event within Trev. So simply select a date, a stock class. Here we're going to do heifer calves, the event type. Here we're going to enter a sale, how many animals, and we also have the ability to enter a reference number and notes. I'm not going to create one as we already have one in the weekly report here. So once that's submitted, it's available in Trev's analytics dashboards. We have a range of single farm and multi-farm reports that you can delve into. For this demo, I'm going to bring up the month-end report. So I won't spend today going through all of the metrics that we surface, because it'll be much longer than 30 minutes, but it'll give you a bit of a feel for what we show. I'm looking at feed metrics such as pasture cover, pre and post grazed residuals, some livestock information, so a stock rec for the farm, as well as what mobs are on farm and what they're being fed. And then in this demo, the milk production data for the farm, which flows in automatically. So our actuals as well as target and last season. Again, this is a dairy demo, so it would look different if you're a dry stock operation. Not only is the data available in analytics, but it's also available to sync through our integrations. So we have an open API, which businesses use to tap into their internal business systems. But in this instance, we're going to focus on the Figured integration here. So the Figured integration is incredibly simple to set up, and we actually map it for you out of the box. If you do need to make changes to that mapping, you can do so through this Manage Connections screen. So you can see here, you can change that mapping of stock classes as well as events. And once that's set up, you're really just jumping into your Manage Data screen to manage that flow of data. As mentioned, we have those two types, that auto sync, which automatically pushes them through to Figured upon creation, or that manual sync piece, which allows you to prompt it when you see fit. We often hear that that's the more powerful option. A classic scenario might be a multi-farm business where you have your farm managers or share milkers entering the data on Trev, and then a finance manager who's coming into Trev and eyeballing this and making sure that they're happy with it before it flows into their trackers and their financial accounts. So here we got the event of the sale of 49 heifer calves. I'm going to flick it back over to Matt so he can show you what that looks like on the Figured side.
Cool, thanks, Corey. Just going to share my screen again. Cool, so we're now inside the Figured dashboard, which you can see here on my demo farm. And we won't go into any sort of other level and detail of Figured, but we'll look at how this integration flows through. So jumping into my trackers page, so under operations trackers, we're in here. You can see on my dairy cattle tracker here, it's obviously been set up on this integration located from this Trev icon here. So clicking into the tracker, and you'll see you've got the stock rec here for the dairy cattle tracker, and then clicking into the heifer calves stock class and scrolling down, you can see that this is the movement of the sale of 49 heifer calves that Trev has, or Corey and Trev has sent through. So this is where it hits Figured, it matches in the stock reconciliation. And then again, on a monthly level, it will tie in with the finances from Xero. So how that looks on a report, I'll jump into a cash flow report. And under additional options in the cash flow, you've also got the show quantities feature here. So just looking, providing a bit more meaning behind the data that's pulling through the cash flow. So you can see my income here on dairy cattle. I've got those that sales. So this is the amount that's flowing down from Xero that we're meeting up with the quantity amount, which is the movement of the 49 sale of dairy heifer calves, which has been sent through from Trev. So there you have it. That's the two softwares seamlessly integrated, working together, and it's really powerful just to bring the whole farming team together to be across. What I'll do now is I'll move back to the presentation. So this is an open session for Q&A. So if you've got any questions at this point about anything throughout the webinar, feel free to pop it through or send your details if you want us to get back in touch with you individually. But if there's no questions, basically from here, getting started. So within the next couple of days, we'll send the recording out to you directly. That's going to have also the setup instructions, and you can review this recording again. And just reach out to either Trev or Figured if you're getting stuck with setting this integration up. But we hope today's been helpful. And we'll share that out in the next couple of days. So I do just have a couple of questions coming through. So we'll sit on here for a bit, answer these questions. Cool. So I've just got a question about the cost here. So there's no actual cost to this integration itself. If you've got Trev and Figured, you can set that up at no additional costs. Amanda saying be perfect for a contract milker, takes away that farm management report. That's a really common use case for tying up the two softwares.
as well as keeping the various stakeholders associated to that contract milking farm across the data as well. We have another one from Simon saying, how does it work for sheep and beef? So we have a number of sheep and beef farms on board Trev at the moment, and actually over the next couple of months we're releasing a number of features to really bolster our sheep and beef capabilities. So things like live weights, and animal treatments and paddock level data. So I'd really jump at the opportunity to run you through that more in depth, perhaps one-on-one.
Cool.
Simon, asking around health and safety. So at the moment, we've got some preset health and safety questions in Trev. Again, within the pipeline is the ability to really make that a lot more customizable depending on your individual business needs. Perhaps I'll reach out directly and give you a bit of a deeper run through on Trev. Just conscious of the, I guess, quite varied audience here. So.
Thanks, Corey. Just looking at a few more in the Q&A. So we've got one in the Q&A saying you would have to enter the transaction of heifer calf sale in Xero since there's nowhere to put the amounts, the sale and figured. And that's correct. So if you've set up the integration, you'll be handling the movements from Trev that will be posting through to the figure tracker to essentially meet in the middle. And then that will meet at a monthly level for any of the sales or purchases that are flowed down through from Xero. So you'd be handling the movements in Trev.
So we've got one from Alan Johnstone there saying, does Trev have any benefits to 50-50 share milker farm owners when they have no ownership in the stock? So absolutely. There's quite a wide range of metrics that we track within Trev that owners like to keep across. Milk production, how that's tracking to target. Things like pasture cover. There's, I guess, a really wide range depending on what the particular owners want to stay across. We also have the ability to set up, triggers so that Trev can even alert you when things are getting close to a particular threshold. We have one saying, how does fertilizer data get into Trev? So that's there's a couple of ways really to handle that. We've got the mechanism to manually enter a fertilizer application. That might be if you're using a custom fert mix, for example. We also have all the balance and Ravensdown products already set up in Trev. We're also just piloting an agreement with one of the fertilizer companies to streamline that data and integrate to pull that data through automatically. Also a couple around Minder. That's probably our most requested integration there. We have a really stacked integration roadmap, which I'd be more than happy to walk people through individually. But yeah, Minder has really requested a lot from our team and something that we'd like to solve.
Cool. Are there any others you want to answer, Corey, or should we take this offline and we'll get back to everyone who's put in their questions?
Yeah, I think that might be a good approach.
Yeah.
If we haven't covered off your questions, absolutely write up a written response and perhaps even reach out directly.
So we'll stay on another minute or so. If you've got any final questions, feel free to pop them in. We can save these afterwards. So yeah, make sure you just leave your details with us and we can get back to you on those. Sweet. So we'll we'll tidy up there. Again, thanks for joining, everyone. Sorry if we haven't got back to your questions straight away, but we do have those saved, so we'll get back to you individually. And then, yeah, we just got Ryan come through. Yeah, we can see the questions coming through. Corey, were there any others in the chat there that you wanted to get to? Yeah, so we'll be sending out the recording and we'll also have a landing page with all the questions and answers, and we'll get back to you individually on any of those other questions. Awesome.
Cool.
Thanks for joining, everyone. We'll be in touch. Cheers. See ya.